we're here again in Temecula, and we're meeting with Michael Metti, who is the candidate for the Libertarian Party for the United States Senate, running against Dianne Feinstein.
Correct.
And we also have Mike Benoit, who is running in the 52nd U.S. Congressional District, and Duncan Hunter, I guess, is your incumbent there. And we're here to just kind of meet with them a little bit and find out who they are, their positions on things, and just kind of get to know them a little bit. And I'm here with Red Toph, as you all know, so, and of course you know who I am.
We can't tell you how happy we are to have you here and to hear what you have to say. Could you tell us a little background on yourselves? How did you come to politics? How are you running as libertarians?
Sure. Did you?
You go for it.
Okay. Well, like you said, I'm Michael Metti. I was never really that interested in politics. I was just happy living my life and doing the best that I can. I lived overseas for 7 years. I lived in Saudi Arabia.
Really? What'd you do in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I was in the air conditioning business.
Well, that's a good place to do that.
You know, that's exactly what I thought. It was in the late 70s and early 80s, and they were taking a lot of our money with oil, and I thought I'd try to bring some of it back here with air conditioning, so that's why I went out there.
With compression, eh?
Yes. But it opened me up to some different ways of thinking living over there. So when I came back home and I started working here and things, and I got stuck in the rat race of all you've got to do, like when you're working and you have to give so much of your money to the government, and they're really hindering our abilities to succeed, and at the same time driving the prices up on things. I didn't think that was right.
Wait a minute, didn't George Bush say that he lowered taxes?
Yes, he did, and he did lower taxes.
Well, I didn't see any lowering of taxes, did you?
Well, there's probably some lowering for somebody somewhere.
Well, I want to know. Okay,
so that's perhaps what he's done. But what he didn't do, and he didn't reduce the size of government whatsoever. He didn't deregulate us in any major way that would help us.
So you'd say Homeland Security is a boondoggle.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year we spent $700 billion on our military. If we can't defend our country with that, how's another $50 billion with another organization really going to help us? It's not going to help us.
That's a lot of money, no matter how you cut it.
It's just an amazing amount of money. But the other thing, too, is our personal liberties have been directly assaulted. And one of the reasons I came here today is because our liberties, to the point that we don't even own our bodies any longer, has become a problem.
We don't like prohibition in any form. You know, it doesn't work. It never has, and it's really not doing very well here. And one of the things that I want to know from you is, how do you feel about prohibition? You know, what do you plan to do if you go to the Senate to get rid of all these insane prohibitionist laws?
Well, technically, they have no constitutional right to have prohibition like that. That might be more on a state level. I mean, we might end up with a patch quilt of a country where some states allow it and some states don't.
Right.
We've tried prohibition in the past. We've tried it
Well,
with
we're
alcohol.
all out for it right now with the drug war. I mean, that is prohibition.
Well, it actually is. And what I was going to say is that since we've tried it before, what did it give us? It gave us
chaos.
It gave us gangs. It gave us corruption of our courts, corruption of our police departments.
Sort of what we're getting right now.
Everything it's a repeat. The only difference is there were a lot more people who cared to drink alcohol than there probably are people who care to take drugs.
Right.
All right. So you're not going to have a voice that's going to go out and you know. Well, any reason that you want to take marijuana, for example, as far as I'm concerned, if I were to be elected Senate, is your business. It's not our business, as long as you're not infringing on the rights of other people.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the difference. And as a libertarian, if I am to get elected, my job, as I see it, is to protect liberties of everybody, regardless of what you want to do, as long as you're not infringing on others or hurting the country in any way, and reduce the size of government. We don't need to have a big police state running around checking to see if people are smoking marijuana in their houses, or in ideas of giving free needles away or any of that type of thing. We need to deregulate it. If people are going to decide to take drugs, they're going to have to be responsible with their actions.
Well, you know, one of the arguments that we have gotten from people like Mary Bono, for instance, and Dianne Feinstein, is that they're against the legalization of any what they call narcotic drug. And our contention is that's their label and their definition. We don't consider marijuana as a drug. We look at it more as an herbal plant that people have consumed for tens of thousands of years without any problems. A lot of the world still does. And the fact that it's labeled as a narcotic automatically gives the federal government now the right to regulate it as an end run around the Constitution. You see, we know that in order to prohibit something as innocuous as marijuana, you need a constitutional amendment. But they get around that by saying, hey, it's a drug. We can regulate drugs. The Supreme Court gave us that power. Well,
Did
they in the Angel Rage case, they said the federal government has a right to regulate medicine
interstate commerce,
and drugs. And we can't dispute that. But what we do dispute is marijuana is not a drug. It's not a narcotic. It's an herb, a plant.
Well, it even goes farther than that. The whole hemp.
Hemp.
Okay, right? And
together is
marijuana
nasty.
is actually just one small part of the hemp family, I
It's
guess.
one small part.
So economically, environmentally, there's a lot of other issues that need to be looked at.
So
and
the question is,
completely
what can
crippled
you
our
do,
ability
though?
to do that.
Mary Bono, when we asked her directly, we said, Mary Bono, as congressman, what can you do to change this? And she said, nothing. She said, I can't do anything. I can't accept Mary Bono's answer. I can't say that. Why did we send her there if she says I can't do anything to change the very law that they passed?
This isn't either of your races.
That's why I'm listening to
But he's
this.
running for Congress, and you're going to face that same issue in Congress. And as senator, it's going to come to you eventually. These issues will come to you because we're not going to give up. We're not going to let them get away with these positions.
And you
I
should.
want to get some background on you a little bit here,
Okay.
just how you came to politics.
Okay. Well, I was one of those guys just living his life, trying to live the American dream, build a business, and, build my lifestyle, have a family, and that kind of thing. And I thought, I don't have time for politics. I'll just go vote for the Republican because they're for smaller government. And that's pretty much all I knew. And it's pretty much the involvement that most people in America, if they even vote, was pretty much their mindset. They read the ballot maybe before they go into the ballot box or, when they're in the ballot box. But one day I started feeling the weight of government and started to become more and more aware of how government was crushing our economics, crushing our personal life, and ruling and regulating everything that we do. And somewhere I heard that if you don't pay attention to politicians will certainly pay attention to you. And once you get started on that road, and then your eyes start to open and you see a lot of different things where government is suppressing our right to life, our very existence, and our economics. And when I woke up to the fact that there wasn't a dime's bit of difference between the Democrats or the Republicans, I hear what you're saying about Mary Bono, supposed to be a Republican, and
Her position is no different than the Democrat Dianne Feinstein. I got a stock letter back from both of them that were written from the same template.
And so what do? You say, there's no change. That's why we get no change. And people tell us that it's a wasted vote voting for the Green or the Libertarian. And I'm going, well, how's it a valuable vote, or how's it a vote worth anything when you are voting for people who are exactly the same and are against your personal views?
Right.
That's a wasted vote. You're gonna, you end up with getting the same thing, and you condone their behavior. These Feinstein and Bono saying it's okay for us to cause sick people to suffer by not letting them have the herd you talk about. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm the same as Mike on that issue. I don't care if you want to grow it in your backyard and you got nothing wrong with you. If it relieves some of your stress, that's how you relax. Makes you feel good. Or, having a rum and coke makes you feel good.
That's so important because one of the big things that we have in America that's a problem is heart disease. And if marijuana can relieve people's stress to where they get their heart rate down and they're calming down and giving their body a little rest, then that's a wonderful thing.
Exactly. And so to finish up the question about getting involved, and I said, well, you know, what was it? Edmund Burke said, all that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
That's right.
So, I mean, I couldn't just sit there and do nothing, and because, you know, and it really is, it's if a few more of us would get involved, then we could do something to stop evil. And I think that's just plain evil, to stop somebody from, you know, medicating themselves or, you know, for their own personal enjoyment, as long as they're not infringing on someone else's right to do the same.
So both of you are going to get elected to Congress. Would you work on legislation just to reclassify at least right away marijuana so we could get it off of...
Get it off the FDA's
So then we get the
jurisdiction.
DEA off our backs.
Well, that may be the easiest and fastest avenue to work with, but ultimately our goal is what you had mentioned at the beginning here, is to end this entire prohibition. I mean, if drugs is a problem, we have to face it
Right.
head on,
As a
not with our
medical
head
thing.
in the sand.
Well, it's a medical thing.
First of all, as libertarians, I think that if there is no victim, there is no crime.
Exactly.
So right away, anyone who's sitting in jail, and this is something I would even consider working on as in parallel with trying to get narcotics knocked off the list or marijuana knocked off the list, is to get these people out of jail.
Absolutely, right away.
That's a big problem for us.
Well, you know,
and there's
that'll
a
cut the
lot of innocent
population
people.
down
It'll cut the
immensely.
population. Now, regarding the other people who you believe are sick, some may be, some may not be.
Some
may
are
be,
incurable.
Some are incurable, and if they've killed people and they've injured other people's ability to live their lives and their liberties, there's got to be compensation.
Absolutely, but when we put, I mean, sure, we can take these people, put them in jail, we can execute them, and they're never going to be a problem to the society at large, but we're still encouraging criminal behavior by keeping these people in a criminal environment.
Well, you know, a lot of the crimes that you're talking about, whether, you know, it's murder or robbery and things, these are a lot of local crimes or state crimes. I mean, the federal government,
They don't get involved.
we don't get involved in that type of thing. I would like to see, I mean, the people who are in prison, in federal prisons, are supposed to be people who've committed crimes of treason or counterfeit or perhaps crossing state lines. Would that be fair enough to say?
Committing a crime that involved
Other
multiple
states, right, multiple states. No,
Kidnapping, how do you feel about kidnapping with the federal government on that?
You mean the government kidnapping? Because they're even
I mean,
doing
if you
that.
don't know
yeah.
what's going on in the world right now, that's right to the point. It is.
Well, okay, well, did we leave anything out that you want to tell the viewers about your platform or your beliefs?
Well, Mike brought up something, and it's about the way people vote. Okay, people always have this mentality they want to vote for a winner. Okay, well, you got to look at it in a little different light. For example, if you go to a business and they don't treat you very well when you go there, all right, you might complain to them.
Yeah.
And then you go there one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they continue giving you attitude and they keep jacking up their prices and their service is crummy, you shouldn't go back there. Because
you probably won't.
if you go back there, what you're doing is giving them the impression that what they're doing is the right thing. You don't want to give these people the impression, like Republicans and Democrats, that they're doing the right thing. They're not doing the right thing when it comes to the war on drugs. They're not doing the right things internationally. They're not doing right things when they're taxing us excessively. So if you really want to change the way things are today, you've got to change the way you vote. Otherwise, we're going to get more of the same. And there are a lot of libertarians stepping up to the plate now, and there's more and more of us. And we're starting to win at local levels because we realize as a party, you've got to start at the bottom and kind of fill up the system, and then hopefully someone will shine enough to get to the top. Because it's a real political game. They've got the power, they've got the money. The special interest groups continue to give them money, and they continue to get reelected. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be getting money. That's fine with me. But we shouldn't have such a big government that can dole out the rest of our money and our liberties.
Well, and they also end up controlling the agenda of the campaign.
Absolutely.
You know, and they want to talk about issues that are really not the key issues that the people themselves are concerned about. They're only willing to talk about issues that they feel strong about,
Right.
that they think they can win points with talking about. And I don't really see that the rest of the media is doing their job. They're pandering to the politicians, well, the Democrats and the Republicans, by perpetuating that whole kind of a scenario where they only talk about the issues that they're comfortable with. And they don't want to answer tough questions like you have about medical marijuana, about prohibition, about many other libertarian kinds of ideals, and basically principles that have established this country and what we all stand for. Michael, I want to thank you for coming on our show
It was our
today.
pleasure.
And
Thank
we
you.
hope to see you in November with a victory banner or some such thing.
That'd be nice.
Well, that would be something.
Yeah,
So,
that would be.
thank
If
you
that
for coming
happens,
on
come
our show.
back on the show.
We sure will, absolutely.
Listen,
yeah.
we're going to call back if you win the election. We're going to call you
Even
up
if
and
you
we're
don't.
going to say, all right, what have you done to change the laws?
Fair enough.
All right,
That's
thank you so much
Okay.
again.
All right, thank you. Al.
Thanks.
Bye now.